Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Mortgage Strategy 101. Today I'm going to share with you some ways that you can optimize your ability to hold your first home when you upgrade into your long-term home, turning your first home into an investment property. So we've talked about this in the holding property mortgage strategy, which is one of the 5 high-level mortgage strategies, and I'm just going to share with you a component of that strategy as it pertains to a stepping stone home being kept as an investment property when you upgrade to the long-term home. Okay, so the mistake that we often see people make is they've paid off their home loan from, say in this example, $850,000 down to $500,000, let's say over 10 years. Great result. We're all taught to pay off our debt as rapidly as we can from the moment we understand what debt is. So in this case, they've kept savings of $50,000 in their Grow offset account, and so they're actually paying interest on $450,000 because, as we should all know by now, if you're watching the mortgage strategy videos, that offset account 100% reduces the interest the same way as if you're repaying it directly into your home loan. Unfortunately, this scenario means your tax deductions when your stepping stone home becomes an investment property are less than they otherwise could have been. Okay, so below is an example where we've still made some principal and interest repayments, but we've just made the minimum principal and interest repayments on the home loan, and the home loan balance now, let's say, is $800,000, and instead of $50,000 in the offset, we've got $350,000 in the offset account. Okay, and this is in the Grow, which we prefer to have no ATM access, and you've got your separate buckets for your life expenses, your fun expenses, etc., as we've covered in the money management system videos. Now in this scenario, you'll have $800,000 of debt that is tax deductible, or the interest on that debt that is tax deductible. All right, so what that means is on an interest rate of 4.5%, you'll have an extra $13,500 per annum of interest payable once this money in your Grow account goes towards your future home. Okay, and you can't just redraw the money out of this loan and pay it towards your future home, because it's taken out of the loan means you've effectively borrowed the money, and the money was spent on the new home. It wouldn't be deductible, and that's why you need to keep the money in the offset account, because it's a credit account. So not only do you have an extra $13,500 of tax deductible interest per annum, if you're able to hold this property hopefully for 10 years, hopefully for longer, right through to the flexibility stage of life, but even for 10 years, that accumulates to $135,000 extra tax deductible interest. If your tax rate's 30%, then that is approximately $40,500 of extra cash in your pocket. Okay, and this is a perfect example of why you need to consider your long-term property plan when determining your mortgage strategy at the point of purchasing property. And if you've already got the debt in place and you haven't organised your mortgage strategy, you really should sit down with someone and have them review how your mortgage strategy is set up today, because for most people, we find almost everybody who owns multiple properties, there are holes in their mortgage strategy that firstly they're not aware of, but then secondly they can cost them thousands and tens of thousands of dollars into the future. And worst case scenario, they potentially end up needing to sell the stepping stone home, which might cost them even $1 million or more of equity that they would have had they been able to hold that property when they purchased the future home. Okay, and for simplicity, I haven't touched on why that also means you'll then have less interest payable on your home loan. But just quickly, it's because you can move all the credit from the offset that's built up the money to go towards a future home. Whereas if you just redraw it, yes, you've still accessed the same money, but as I mentioned, it's borrowed money, so that isn't tax deductible. So in effect, you have more debt on the home loan and less on the stepping stone home, or you can have more debt on the stepping stone home when it becomes an investment property and less on the home loan. So there you have it. That is a component of how your mortgage strategy can help you hold your first home and keep it as an investment before you upgrade to your future home. If you found that interesting, please contact us and ask us to speak with one of your strategic mortgage brokers to discover how you can improve your mortgage strategy and help you to hold all your properties as you accumulate future properties. Have a great day.